popularity of selling t-shirts. I mean, even in the last year, you may be asking yourself, how am I going to continue to grow my t-shirt business in what some would consider a highly saturated market? And while the latter is still kind of debatable, it was one of the questions I asked and led to the purchase of my direct-to-film printer, or DTF, as some of you may have heard. Most importantly, really quickly, I'm Claudia with Pink's Teas and Things, and today I'm going to be telling you what led me to decide I wanted to purchase this Epson SureColor P800 over a DTG machine. So that's what we're going to be talking about in this video. If you are a t-shirt business owner and you are at the point where you're looking to add another piece of equipment, and maybe you're like me and you're trying to figure out, is it DTG or is it DTF? Which one is it? Continue watching this video because I'm going to be giving some really things that I wanted to know coming into this, questions that I had. I'm planning on trying to address these in this video. Not to mention, I'm going to have a whole series posted about this DTF printer. So you're going to follow me on my journey of learning how to use this printer to grow my business. So if you're interested in that sounds like something that would add value to your business, keep watching. And most importantly, go ahead and hit that subscribe button. And while you're there, don't forget to hit the notification bell as well so that you'll be alerted each time I post a new video. So without further ado, let's get to it. So you may be asking yourself, why did you choose a DTF printer? Let me tell you, I was definitely on the fence and I was somewhere between DTG and DTF. And so the decision truly came down to this. What could I fit in my office? For those of you that don't know, I am using a spare bedroom in my home and I don't have a lot of space. And so I was looking for something that still kind of could get me those multicolored prints, but I needed it to be able to fit in this space. And so when I looked into DTG, the size of the machine, in addition to like the pre-treat machine, just don't have the space for that right now. And so that was really the determining factor that made me decide to go with the DTF. Found a company that offered a wide variety of sizes, and so I tried to find the largest machine that I could fit in my space. Just so that you know, full transparency. So you may be asking, where did you purchase your machine from? This printer was purchased from McLeod Technology. I found them online. I looked at several other vendors. I decided once I figured out that they had a California hub, I decided to go with them. We're on the same time zone. If I have an issue, I know that I can get a hold of you. You know, this was my initial thought process when it came to the whole thing. Now, so price. I know everybody wants to know. So let me give you the details on that. In my opinion, I feel like DTF has the lowest entry costs, honestly, because I'm going to speak for this particular vendor that I used. I felt like there was a wide array of price ranges. So you could get a DTF printer for as little as $2,000 on up to about $20,000. It just depends on your budget, what you need, your needs for your business, right? But I really like the fact that there was some flexibility as well. So that's about cost, okay? So anywhere from 2 up to 20, just depends on what you're interested in purchasing. For me, I was trying to get the largest printer that I could fit in my space. So just so that you know. And of course, ordering. Once I called and I had some questions about, I was in between 2 different machines. I had some questions. They were answered. And at that point, I added to cart and I checked out without any issues. In comes, I receive a message regarding scheduling for delivery. Now, I have to be honest. I was kind of like, what did I just buy? Because why are they scheduling a delivery? Like, it's not so large that I would need a freight delivery. So I was super, super confused. Fast forward, I talked to the technician on the phone and we scheduled the delivery for the following morning. Because I'm a California resident, they have a hub here in California. It was actually better for them just to deliver. And I was like, okay, well, whatever works. Doesn't matter, just as long as I get my print. The next morning arrives, and the technician that I had spoken to the day before arrives, and there's actually 2 technicians. They both arrive. They bring the machine upstairs to my office. They ask me where I want to set it up the machine for me, put in the inks, attach the roll feeder, because the 17-inch that I purchased has a roll feeder. They set up the roll feeder, they fed the paper through, they set up the software on my additional laptop here that I'm going to be using for the DTF printer. They did everything. And I was thinking, wow, okay, here I was under the impression that we would receive the printer, my husband and I would put it together and kind of go through all those steps, but by ourselves. No, they were here. It was actually a really pleasant surprise. They were super patient, really helpful. I mean, honestly, I really don't have any complaints, if I'm being honest. Now, I will tell you, it wasn't like a super in-depth, but wait, it doesn't stop there. So they set up the machine. They then have stock images on the software that they then print on the printer. We cure and press the shirt. I don't know about you, but I wasn't expecting all that. I felt like I was getting like red carpet treatment. Okay, you're gonna show me how to print it, how to cure it, and then to press it? Amazing. Hands down, I was impressed. So I'm thinking, great. So they brought their stock images, they've helped us print them, they've shown us how to cure, we now have the right temperature settings and all that good stuff, and we've pressed it. And the product is amazing. Did I say amazing? Amazing. Like the feel, it's buttery soft. Anyway, we'll get into that in another video. Then they allowed us to upload our own images, print them, cure them, and press them. So they were here for hours. Okay, I was impressed. I have to tell you, I was truly, truly impressed with the process. I don't even mind not getting the printer on Saturday. I'd much rather have you here showing me how to use this printer and the software. That to me is far more valuable than just having a printer that I then have to set up and figure out the right settings and all that good stuff. So for that, they're getting 2 thumbs up for me, okay? I'm okay with it. Now, lastly, I want to talk about some pros. And I would say, I'm going to say cons, but truthfully, they're not bad things. The cons are more so, I just want you to really think about these things before you decide to jump into whether it's DTG or DTF. But I'm giving you these cons, or I should probably say thinking points, things that you really need to consider before you jump into DTF, because there are some things you really need to be aware of, and I don't want them to catch you by surprise. So number 1 pro on my list, you are now able to print multicolor designs. There's no layering of vinyl. I don't have to find a polyester medium. I don't have to bleach a shirt. I don't have to do any of that. None. I print, I cure, I press. That's it. Okay? So for me, I don't have a problem with that. I'm getting a multicolor print. Okay? Multicolor. Love that. So because you're able to print those multicolor prints at home, now another pro, I'm not outsourcing as much. So I see the potential of this machine, and I realized, wow, a lot of those jobs that I've been kind of, outsourcing no longer have to do that. That's amazing. I'm okay with it. And lastly, this is more so to those that are in areas where they have a hub. So for me, California, the fact that they have a hub in California is a major pro. Number one, I have the direct line to the technician that came out, and so that's amazing. And I'm gonna tell you why really quickly. The next day after they came, set up the machine, and spent hours here at my home. Poor gentlemen, I feel for them. However, I appreciate it so very much. But the next morning, we get up. I actually shot a TikTok about this. If you don't follow me on TikTok, head on over. Pinks, Teas, and Things on TikTok, okay? I did shoot a video, a quick little snippet on TikTok showing the morning routine of kind of getting this guy going, you know? And in the midst of it, we realized, wait a minute, it's kind of putting out a little bit too much white toner. In the middle of my husband and I kind of talking about it, he calls and we tell him, oh, this is one of the issues we just encountered. Guess what? FaceTimed us. So then we went through, he saw the print, we went to the software, he saw the software settings, he told us to make an adjustment in the percentage, worked just like that, no problems. Now, once again, I was amazed at the customer service. Hands down, completely amazed. Now, we're gonna kind of move into the cons, or I'm gonna say the things you need to think about before you jump into DTF. Okay, these are things that you truly need to consider, and that is the cost of ink. The day after we received the printer, I immediately ordered ink because I like to have ink on hand. I don't want to have to wait. When I want to use the printer, I want to use it. I don't want ink to be a hindrance as to why I can't print out a transfer, excuse me. So I immediately ordered a bundle of ink. I ordered all 4. This machine, it looks like it's more than 8, but really it's only 8 channels. But there's 4 colors and 4 whites. I ordered the bundle pack. It was about $122. You also have to have a powder for curing, so you need to think about how much powder, and the powder truly is negligible when it comes to cost, because just seeing how you can reuse the powder, I'll also be demonstrating that in videos to come, just the whole process when you go from software to print, powder, curing, and then pressing. We'll be going through the whole process in the videos to come. So please remember, hit that subscribe button. And also the cost of paper. Like I said, I have the roll. I didn't want the individual films. I wanted a roll because I wanted to be able to, you know, if I want to print a gang sheet, I want to be able to do that. Without, you know, major limitations. If I just want to print a little bitty square, I can do that because I've done it on here, and then I just cut off that one little piece. That's it. So those are the things that you need to think about. You're going to have to replenish your ink. You're going to have to replenish your paper. How often? Well, we'll see as we go through this series of videos, right? And then also a caveat to purchasing ink. The white ink is the one that I'm noticing is probably going to be the one that we're going to have to replace the most frequently, because the ink consumption for those white cartridges, the 4, is a lot. Another con or thing that you need to just kind of keep in mind is that there is a curing process. And so how are you going to cure your transfers? I just so happen to have a convection oven in my office that I use for sublimation. So that's what I'm using to cure my transfers currently. There are machines that they have on the market. I've seen people use griddles to cure. I've seen them hover their heat press to cure. So think about what method you want to use, and will there be an additional cost if you don't have anything currently to cure with. So keep that in mind. Another thing that you just need to be aware of is that there is an additional software. So when you think about learning curve, there is a learning curve to learning AcroRip. However, as t-shirt business owners, we've used things like Photoshop, Illustrator, Corel Draw, you name it, and we've learned those programs. So don't let that be a hindrance, but it is something that you need to know. You're going to have to learn a different software. I think it's a rather, I want to say simplistic software, because there are functions, but I just feel like for instance, I like to use Illustrator. And so for me, I just feel like it's not as overwhelming as it was when I was first learning Illustrator. Once you learn the functions, if I change this number, what does that communicate to this printer? If I can understand that correlation, it's a lot easier for me to understand how to put in the settings. So just keep that in mind. There is an additional software that you will have to learn with the purchase of a DTF machine, and I do believe it's also with the DTG. Another thing that I want you to just kind of also remember is that you're going to need a designated computer. So whether it's a desktop, a laptop, whatever, if you don't have an additional laptop that you can attach to this printer, that may be an additional cost that you'll be incurring. The last thing that I want you to remember is that there is a process. Just as with the white toner printer, where you print, you have to marry the A and the B sheet. Here, you're going to print, then you have to powder, then you have to cure, and then you hit the press. So remember, there is time. There's time needed for each of those things, for it to print, for you to powder, for you to cure, and then press. There's going to be, X amount of time to produce a transfer. So keep that in mind. That may not work for your business model. I don't know, but these are just things that I want you to keep at the forefront when you're trying to figure out if DTF is something that you truly want to get into. Didn't deter me, but, I just thought I'd pass along the information. So if you feel like you got value from this video, as far as what piece of equipment you may want to add to your business next, or you have a DTF printer and you're looking for some more insight, either way, if you felt like this video added any value to your business, please hit that like button. And most importantly, don't forget to subscribe. And while you're there, hit that little notification bell so that you'll be notified each time I post a new video. And until next time, bye friends.